Back in the day, if you wanted to learn about business, you had to go to the public library and spend countless hours researching for the information you need. Nowadays, you just literally go on YouTube and type Alex Hermosi, and that's all the business info you really need. So, in today's video, really what we're gonna do is we're gonna cover basically how he started $4 million businesses in a row. And we're gonna just give our sauce to all the information that he's dropping. We're so blessed, guys. Let's take a moment to appreciate how blessed we are to be able to have such information on the internet. Drop a like on the video just for the blessings, okay? The blessings are being spread to the whole community. But yeah, there's a lot of things that I can take away from this story. And in fact, I actually didn't know he had $4 million a month businesses. It's pretty incredible. And I can't wait till my business hits $1 million a month. With some of this advice, surely we can do it. And surely some of you guys can do it as well. So follow along with the journey as always, and let's get into it. I'm guessing we're going to get tons of insight from this, especially, all of us together putting our minds into these videos. We're cooking. That's for sure.
I started 4 businesses that cracked 10 million in a row. I want to share the frameworks and lessons I learned from the many mistakes that led to those 4 in a row, so that hopefully the next business you have or the current business you're on can achieve that level and beyond. So the first big company I built was called Gym Launch. It was a licensing business for gym owners, as in I had a model and I would license that model to them. They would use those things, they'd make more money. The average gym would make an extra $100,000 a year in profit on top of what they were currently making as our fee. That business at its peak was worth about $150 million. And then COVID hurt that business, and I ended up selling it for $46.2 million to American Pacific Group, which is a private equity firm out of San Francisco. The first 10 customers I got
Damn, that's crazy that he could have sold that for 150. Wow. 46 mil is still so much money. That's ridiculous. That business sounds really difficult to operate too. What a beast.
Gym Launch, I got somebody to pay a VA in the Philippines to scrape CrossFit's database and then send me the list of emails. I then uploaded them to Facebook, made a lookalike audience off of those, marketed to get a webinar, which no one watched, and then I had 80 leads from people who had opted in. And
rest in peace lookalike audiences, by the way, on Meta. If you guys run Meta ads, you'll know. I mean, you should still test them. We still test them, but they're just not the same anymore, man. They really are not.
None of them bought or scheduled a call. And so I looked up every one of the emails manually, and I friended them on Facebook, I messaged them, and then I got a few of them on the phone to pay me $500 to go out to fly to their gym and actually do the turnaround. Once I started the licensing version of the model, which is the one that really gave me the scale, I was able to sell something that had virtually 100% margin.
How's the volume, by the way? I mean, this is pretty interesting. To me, these businesses sound like hell to run, but they print. So there's definitely a lot of things that you can take away from this, especially that's the thing you guys got to realize. We're all a little bit different, and you really should capitalize on your strengths and passions. People say don't do that, but obviously Alex Hermosi was passionate about the gym, right? So to him, this was probably not a hellish business to run. I go to the gym. I'm not passionate about the gym. This sounds like hell to me. So, that's an insight that you can take.
The first month, I think I did 120,000 in sales. And the next month I did 300-ish, and then high 4s, and then 780. And all I was doing was just selling more units. And then we hit $1 million the next month. We would look at whatever problems.
He makes it sound so easy. All we did is just sell more. He did though. I mean, that's true. That there's nothing wrong about that. That's literally facts. All you do to make more money is just sell more.
The gym owners that we were with were currently suffering from. So it could be they're suffering from churn, or they could be suffering from margin issues, or they could be suffering from they're not getting enough leads. Close rates aren't as high as we want them to be. We would then create a hypothesis around what we thought might work. We would survey the community and say who has the best conversion rates, if that's what we wanted to fix. And then we'd invite 20 of them onto a call. We would take all the notes to figure out what things they were all doing. And here's the important point. We didn't say, great, we're gonna do all these things. We try to see the few things that they were all doing.
Surveying is so undervalued, guys. That's actually such a good point, and I'm glad that he mentioned it. I'm gonna remind myself, there's a really sick app called No Commerce that you can, this is more relevant for e-com businesses. I don't know if you guys are all e-com business owners out here, but this is definitely something that you guys should check out. It's just getting insights into your customers or other people's customers is so valuable. And I'm glad that he alluded to that because I needed that reminder. And if Alex Hermosi says it, it's true.
you'd say, hey guys, this is a big deal. This is like worth the cost of change. You're gonna have a demonstrated long-term benefit to the business. For context, my best gym did about $600,000 a year. Our average gym, who's a gym lord, made $600,000 a year. Big picture is that the product has to be exceptional. If your customers are in love with your product, which takes more time, because people are like, oh, you threw this thing together. It's like, it took 6 years for me to put all those pieces together and then finally be able to monetize that deliverable. And like that little inch between good and great is years. But the return you get on it from the word of mouth that compounds is hard to fathom. One of the other big secrets of Gym Launch was that we had a very different approach to acquiring customers. The traditional model of most businesses in general is loss leader, you know, you get someone in for some sort of free thing, you lose money on the acquisition, you make it up in LTV. I came with a different model and I've since done that in every single business I have. So this is one of the important frameworks that I want to pass to you, and it's something called client financed acquisition. So client financed acquisition basically means you get the customers to finance the acquisition of the next customer. So all you have to do is have enough money to get the first sale. And if you make more in the first sale than the cost to acquire that customer and the cost to fulfill that customer, plus the cost to fulfill the next customer and the cost to acquire the next customer, you eliminate capital as a constraint in the business. You can put $1 in and get 2 customers back, then that next customer buys you 2 more and 2 more and 2 more.
This is why, okay, this is exactly why dropshipping is so powerful if you hit a product that works with Facebook ads. Because let's say you spend $10 to acquire a customer, but that customer makes you $20 in profit. That's exactly what he's talking about. Now that customer just paid for the next customer and the customer after that. And you don't have to order inventory, so you can keep this cycle running over and over again. Obviously, I'm sure he would attest to this as well. That's not how it works in practice 100% of the time. It probably only works like that 1% of the time. But that's why you gotta keep trying new things, right? Or keep working at your business so that you can hit that 1%. That's a big thing, guys. Like, I'm pretty sure, let me look this up real quick. Batting average in Major League Baseball. Okay, I don't know what that means. That's crazy. So it's like 2.2%. Okay, I don't know if that's exactly what that means. Okay, that's probably like 2%, I think. I don't know. That's crazy low. And in business, it's the same shit. Like, if you just hit once, you make up for all your losses.
All my gyms were able to just crush everyone else because we could outspend them. I've taken that aggressive acquisition perspective to every one of the businesses that I've had. We had many
aggressive acquisition
that happened during Gym Launch. I mean, one, we had COVID, which was tough, for gym owners in general. A third of all of our clients went out of business. Another thing that we did that was really bad was we overhired for our support. I had hired an inexperienced director of customer service. She was a frontline rep that we just promoted all the way through. High work ethic, but no experience. And so she hired 35 reps and we only needed 5. So we had to lay off 30 people. And then that became a thorn in our side for the next 2-3 years because our glass door got smashed. The biggest reason Gym Launch was successful, one is that it was timing. We identified arbitrage on Facebook ads before anyone else did, and we created a turnkey system around how to monetize it. I was running ads on Facebook in 2013. You could put a girl with a bikini and say, click here now.
What?
It was the Wild West.
2013 Facebook ads? I can't even imagine
Second
that.
thing, because of that arbitrage, the average gym was taking home an additional $30,000 in cash in their first 30 days. That was the average. If you take a business where the average business owner is making $36,000 a year in profit, and then you add $30,000 in the first month of working with them, you don't need to worry about marketing. Technically, my return on marketing was 100 to 1 for the first 18 months of the business. But it's because I probably could have just not marketed at all and I would have had the amount of people that came in. So like, who knows if the ads were doing anything? But everybody from the outside was like, this guy's ads are everywhere. Like, he's killing it. So many people who were copycats, Mickey Mouse, gimmick, bullshit. People who just used old versions of our stuff to try and sell at like all the stuff you would imagine. All those guys went out of business because they didn't have the depth. Prestige Labs was my second big company, which actually was really a sister company to Gym Launch. We built the whole thing of an affiliate base
sister
that we
company.
acquired through Gym Launch. And so like the first month of being fully operational did 1.7 million. I didn't want to sell supplements for a very long time because I was like, supplements, you just need to eat right and work out. This woman wouldn't leave my office. She's like, my friend says I need supplements. Like, fine. So I wrote her a list. I was like, go get this stuff, go away. She came back the next day with the things and she was like, I just want to make sure I got the right stuff. And I saw the receipt and it had $700 on the receipt. And the thing that I had sold her was $400. And I was like, this motherfucker across the street just made $700. And I had to arm wrestle this bitch for an hour to get her to say yes to sign up for my fitness program. And I was like, fuck that, I'm gonna sell supplements. So I would recruit a gym owner and I would say, hey, we're teaching you all this marketing and sales stuff over here. If you just sell every person supplements, it will cover the cost to acquire a customer just from the physical products. And the beautiful thing with selling physical products is that there's no added
That's so
fulfillment.
genius.
One of the problems is the more you sell, the more you have to deliver, right? And so it's kind of this double-edged sword where the moment you swipe the credit card, you're like, oh shit, now I have to deliver on this, right? They didn't have to do anything. They literally just swiped the credit card and then we managed centrally, we would ship it direct to the consumer. I wanted to create a brand only gym owners sold, so no one else could sell it. We priced it on our home site higher. We priced it 30% higher on the main site, so there were significant savings. On top of that, we gave them a very good selling system because I learned a lot about selling supplements. I made it a recurring subscription. So now they got to have 2 recurring subscriptions per customer.
Damn. So that's so genius, making an e-commerce business off of the back of your service-based business. That's really smart. And selling business to business, that's huge. That's actually so smart.
I picked the first 10 customers from our distribution base.
But again, this is all because of his mastery and passion for gyms. That's something I feel like is pretty important here. Like, not everybody can do this because they don't have the depth like he was talking about.
Already. So I rolled out 10 locations, and then the next month I rolled out 20 or 30. Next month I rolled out another 20 or 30, and then we did the big launch to everyone. There's lots of little things that we did that were gym specific that no other supplement company could do, which has given us a nice moat in that space. It cost me $4 million to start Prestige Labs. About $1 million of that went to the tech. So we created an entire point of sale for supplements that was specifically made for gyms. So every gym would get a retail kit, so they'd have a full wall of products. They would have a kiosk, which is a stand with an iPad type thing on it. Shopify didn't really exist that. We had to build this whole thing. And then the other 3-ish million went into just product. Biggest difficult.
Imagine not having Shopify. That's how early this guy was. Damn, I didn't know Hormozi was. This is what I'm talking about. Like, you think that people that are so successful right now, they had like overnight success, but he's talking about running Facebook ads in 2013. Like, I was literally like in science class, learning about rocks in 2013. That's crazy.
Difficulties with it in supply chain. So like if you run out of one ingredient on one product, like you can't sell the product. There are also legal firms that will buy all your products and try and test to find something that's off or underrepresented or whatever. There's predatory law firms that as soon as you have a patent, they'll just try and find people to sue and they'll just like basically rev share on the amount of money they can get. The end consumer is just not sticky. And that's just because people don't stick with fitness stuff in general for a long time. So the biggest lesson I have for you guys, Mosey Nation, around Prestige Labs is that I probably shouldn't have done it. That's the real. It is a good business, but I think that if I had allocated more time to just making Gym Launch better, Gym Launch would have been bigger. And because Gym Launch stopped growing the year I launched Prestige Labs, I just became CEO of 2 companies rather than CEO of 1. The third business I started, useallen.com, still around today, doing
Interesting.
great. I saw where chat was going and I saw where AI and machine learning were going a few years ago. And I figured if I were able to aggregate all of the data from every single type of small business, all scheduling brick and mortar in-person appointments, I'd be able to predictively show what days of the week, what times of day, what kind of follow-up sequences got the most amount of people to show up. And since we were compensated on percentage of people that showed up, we were highly incentivized to solve that problem. And I learned a ton about how to get the most throughput for leads. And I've used that in every one of the portfolio companies that we have. And you can usually add 20, 30, 40% to the throughput on ads, simply your scheduling process. I first started it to solve the problem for gym owners because one of the biggest constraints is that people don't work their leads. Amazing, I know. But the average gym was getting 9% of leads in the door when they had to work them manually. We were able to get just under 20% of leads in the door without them doing anything. And the average front desk person costs $2,000 plus a month, and we could do it for a fraction of that. Sold the first 10 customers of Allen by going to our distribution base and saying, hey, do you want to try this thing? What was interesting is that we very quickly realized that we couldn't expand outside of our distribution base. The breakthrough was that I realized that we needed to get agencies on board rather than getting small businesses on board, because they'd be like, great, I can work my leads. How do I get leads? And then we're like, ah, shit, they don't know how to get leads. So then we started selling agencies, which had another degree of leverage, because if you sell an agency,
that's so smart.
Business owners underneath of them. I did 2 webinars with people who had big agency audiences, so now you go up another level. I could make 1 pitch, and in 1 pitch get 1,000 customers. That was when this thing really took off. I did 2 pitches, and within 6 months we were doing 1.7, also ironically, per month through the software company. Allen was the business that I probably learned the most.
That's so cool.
From. I ended up selling that business as well, 75% of it to a strategic buyer who's still running it and doing a good job with it, and hopefully they'll have a big exit in a few years. And that was an all stock deal, so under NDA, I can't tell you, but I can tell you we did 12 million in the trailing 12 months before the sale. That being said, lesson 1 is that you need to have an in-house CTO if you're going to get into software. I developed software for
CTO?
Prestige Labs.
Oh.
I use the exact same development shop to make the.
Oh, that's good advice, because I think a lot of people right now are trying to get into software because it seems like a hot business to start, but it's probably, I mean, I know it's way harder than people think. So that's a good piece of advice. I'm going to, keep that in my brain. A chief technology officer.
The software for Alan. I regret that. Development shops, honestly, they're about as close to a complete scam as you can come to. Because if you really are gonna build a software company, you need to build a software company. Like, that's it. Like, you need to build a software company. It's like having a marketing agency and having a white labeled marketing agency doing all your delivery. It doesn't make any sense. Number two is that you wanna run pricing surveys early. Because we unlocked 4 times the pricing power by simply repackaging how we charge. Exploring different ways to charge based on usage, based on recurring fees, different KPIs. This is especially true with software because there's so many different ways you can charge compared to maybe traditional service. The third thing is having aligned incentives with your customers often just makes you more money. And so that business had a tremendous amount of scale because we had so much alignment with every single stakeholder. The small business owner wanted people to show up, the agency owner wanted people to show up, and we got paid based on show up. So everybody was aligned top down. The fourth thing, throughput on appointments when you're scheduling for sales calls or in-person appointments. The amount of days per week that you are open, the hours that you are open, and the increments of time matter a lot. Like 50 to 200% would be like, marketing doesn't work for me, and they had one time slot for an hour per week that they were willing to take new customers on. That's just stupid. There's no other way to say it. The people who made the most money, who had the most throughput, are the ones who gave the most availability, gave the most flexibility to their customers, were open the most days, and they, unsurprisingly, got more people to schedule and show up. There's a reason small business owners stay small. They make small business owner decisions. So acquisition.com. So this is the fourth.
That's a bar.
Portfolio company.
There's a reason why small business owners stay small, because they make small business owner decisions. Fuck.
That right now does over $200 million a year, and I make these videos so that you can hopefully pass 3 million, 10 million, etc., and then we can invest in your business and help it grow further. I started with the question, what can I do forever? And then work backwards from there. So it's like, there has to have a lot of leverage. I need to have a capital compounding vehicle. So the first 10 investments that we found, some people I knew from, beforehand. And
oh, this is interesting. I've never heard about this.
Had shifted more and more to like basically an advisory role anyways. And the rest of it has been people who read the book, who watch videos, who listen to.
This is exactly why it's powerful to build a personal brand. I mean, he's saying it right now. People literally come to him to invest in businesses. Okay, that's really powerful. And what he said about, I'm trying to find something I can do forever, that's so relatable to me. That's why I feel like content for me is also a great fit, because I feel like I can make content forever. Like, I could do this forever. I feel like I could be 60 years old and still streaming to you guys and, having some conversations, building up the community. It's fun. Like, I love it. So I could do it forever. So it's a good idea to find businesses that can, like, good vehicles, wealth vehicles, business vehicles, whatever you want to call them, that you can incorporate into something you can do forever. That's a great idea. I like that.
Podcasts who come in who already are aligned with our values. We'll always look at anything as 3 or more, but most of the businesses are over 5. The average business right now is doing 17 million. So acquisition.com is the first business that was really like built on a personal brand and inbound with content. So that's been like the biggest change compared to the other businesses. There's pros and cons to it. Like, it's a slower business overall. If you are used to doing a transactional business where you're doing multiple sales a day, going into a business model where you have 1 every month is very different, and there's a lot of conversations that happen that don't amount to anything. The thing that excites me most about acquisition.com is I learn more now than I ever have because I'm exposed to more businesses at a higher level. I believe that the purpose of life is to learn. That's
exactly how I feel about my agency, because like I said earlier, we can't even take more clients right now because our service would just be horrible. So we're kind of capped out. So it's kind of like, we're not bringing in sales every day like an e-commerce brand would. It's more so like precise customers. Like, we're shooting a sniper for a precise customer that's going to pay us 6 figures a year, basically. That's the goal. And also, I feel the same way. I feel like I've never learned so much in my life than I have running this agency. Like, just because of the fact that I get so much exposure to incredible businesses that I'm like, wow, these guys are really incredible, or wow, these guys could be doing something different, etc. Boys, remember to like the stream to help the algorithm. Big man deserves it for all the free value. Thanks, my guy. I always forget to mention that, but you're right. Like the video, like the streams. honestly, share the videos. That's an undervalued thing to do. Sharing the videos with your friends. I mean, that's going to help them out. They're going to thank you for it. It's going to help me out. Great way to support the channel for sure.
My purpose of life. Then enabling myself to learn in as many ways as humanly possible maximizes that. So we co-own all these businesses because I want to learn how solar sales work. I want to learn how mortgage sales work. Like knowing a lot about a lot of things allows you to cross-pollinate ideas that work well in one industry and then apply them to another
Hell
one
yeah.
outsized returns. As we saw
I love that you
how
mentioned
quickly
that.
and how easily acquisition.com grew, the biggest part of that was because we hired from the top down. There was so much that we could automatically delegate to people who were better than us at their respective things. Director of sales, director of marketing, director of people, director of IT, director of portfolio operations. Not as good as, but better than us, who are teaching us. Every other business I've had, I hired from the bottom up. This one I went from top down, and I will always do that from here on out. You can really only do that if you're well capitalized.
That's kind of the secret. I mean, that's why this isn't super applicable to everybody, obviously, because some of you guys don't have money, but this is so true. Like, if you can hire, well, actually, this isn't entirely true because you don't always need capital in order to hire high level people. Sometimes you just need to incentivize them with like equity, for example, in your business. But that's a great point. You know, like hiring at a high level first is a great idea because that's where you're going to get the most leverage from. And that's what I've done as well. Like my COO was my second hire in the agency, and he's a beast. Like he's an absolute beast. So that made such a big difference. I mean, I would not be able to be here streaming if I didn't have this guy on board. So super good point. Love that.
Why venture people raise money, because you can get more talent before the business can really afford the talent.
Yeah, that's also a good thing to mention. That's why companies raise so much money, because then they get, you know, they have so much leverage. They can hire from the top down. Damn, I never thought about it like that.
At the end of the day, every business incurs debt. It's just what kind of debt. So are you incurring financial debt? Are you incurring management debt, cultural debt, technical debt? And the question is, which one do you want to pick and have to pay down later? And so for us, being the bank was willing to pay down financial debt to not have to pay any of the other debt down in the future, because ultimately on a longer time horizon, we'd move faster. And the other thing is that we have made recruiting talent the single core competency of the business. Most of the companies that we're bringing on, the entrepreneur needs more talent. And we have the ability to recruit talent better than most people because one, we have so much inbound that comes in. Two, we as a private equity firm have more prestige than most of the companies that are in our portfolio. And so we can recruit and people respond to a private equity firm who has portfolio companies more than they respond to Joe's Dry Cleaning. And then we have somebody at Holdco who will help train them on our way of doing business so they get it right the first time. A portfolio company, when their managers are getting stuck or their directors of sales getting stuck, they talk to our director of sales. And if you're a business owner and you'd like to scale to 50, 100 and beyond, we'd love to partner with you on it. We have.
He seems so tired of this pitch.
We've done it multiple times. And the biggest cost that you have in the business is what you do not know. And so if we can help you pay down ignorance debt and we can drag what you might already do in 10 years and 3 years, then for us, that's a win for everyone. So if that's interesting, you can always go to acquisition.com. Go there, apply through the site, and look forward to hopefully working with one of you guys.
Awesome. Great video. Shout out to Hermosi. What a beast. So this is the beauty of content, and this is, somebody asked earlier, why do a lot of entrepreneurs build personal brands? It's actually not true. Not a lot of entrepreneurs build personal brands. Most entrepreneurs are just working on their business, which is probably the smartest thing that they can do. But the reason why some do is because they probably have aspirations to bring on brands they can invest in, or ways to grow their business, you know, just like an additional way to grow your business. Having a face to your business is super powerful. And I think I've always had an intuition about a personal brand. First, I knew that it would be a worthwhile thing to do in the future, even before I knew about like private equity and being able to invest in businesses, right? Even before that. But I just loved it, honestly. I just loved making content. I thought it was super fun, and I kept doing it, never stopped, and I'm never going to stop now because now I see the potential as well from a wealth standpoint. And, you know, hopefully in this year, I'll get the opportunity to invest in some businesses. That would be awesome. Maybe one of you guys, hit me up. You know, I'd love to invest in e-commerce businesses. That's our bread and butter. And like literally, this video just inspired me so much, straight up. Because that's my core competency is e-com, similar to how his was like sales in gyms. So that's probably the type of businesses that go to him the most. Not necessarily, but like high ticket stuff, things like that. But for me, it's ecom and digital products. So I should talk more about investing in businesses like that. That would be sick.